Hey everyone, this is Matt Curfman with the Richmond Brothers. It is May 12th when I'm recording this, and Oliver and I are here just contemplating the new deal, I guess would be the word, struck with President Trump in the White House and China. It sounds like there's at least positive momentum with the deal, but there's still 90 days to work out the deal. And that tends to be a theme we're seeing with this administration is now 90-day windows. So the 90-day windows that are currently out there are for basically, I think, all countries to come to the table to negotiate tariffs with the U.S. And so that 90-day window for most countries, with the exception of China, is set to come up right around the July 4th holiday or early June. And so lots still going on. And so it does seem encouraging from a China standpoint because they're one of the major trade partners, and tariffs have huge impacts on lots and lots of companies because so much is produced in China. So, good or bad, I guess what it feels a little bit like if I share my screen, and I'll let Oliver down now. Here's a roller coaster. And this roller coaster basically is maybe what this year has been, filled with optimism, terror, uncertainty, fear, and tariffs. And so we're still in the middle of the tariffs, but it feels like the White House is starting to acknowledge some of the pain, the terror, the uncertainty that was happening, and how the markets in the world were responding to tariffs. So this does not mean we have a straight line, a straight path ahead, but it is encouraging from that standpoint. And so for those of you that have used our Smoother Ride series, this, what you see on the screen, the roller coaster, is not what a smoother ride is. Remember, if markets go up and then they come down, there's thresholds and tolerance points that we put in there to go defensive because we don't know if some news is going to come out tomorrow, the next day, the next week, the next month. That can really derail massively market recovery. Remember, in late February through early April, broad benchmarks in the stock market, like the Nasdaq, like the S&P, did swing down from their peak to their trough. The S&P nearly 20%, which you saw the word bear market floating around, and the Nasdaq was between 24 and 25%. This is the terror part of the slide. Now, those things are starting to come back up some, but what we want to be cautious of is we don't want to get a false sense of optimism or have kind of like if you go get lab work done and they say that was a false positive, you need to go back. So strategies are getting closer and closer. Some of them with our smoother ride are getting within about approximately a half percentage point. If we get later this week and the trend of momentum continues, that's really what smoother ride is designed for. So as momentum comes back, if things are going to move back in a positive direction, we don't want to stay on the sidelines forever or for too long. And there's always a risk that we went defensive and didn't need to. However, going defensive when things had dropped 20 and 25% at one point from their highs in the broad markets, that's a very unnerving prospect for especially retirees when we're not adding back into the pot. So just to give you a heads up, we are still watching every single day, monitoring and keeping you in the loop. So we'll see what happens. And I guess the best analogy I can give you is we're getting close to kind of getting in the car. We're going to go on moving forward towards our destination, but we should really be buckled in just in case more and more headlines continue to come out that could derail this momentum that markets are generally seeing. So if you have any questions, please reach out directly to questions@richmondbrothers.com. Later this week, the 13th evening, the 14th and the 15th, our advisory team is going to be training for just updated tax law around retirement with the infamous and nationally known Ed Slot. We will still be available in between sessions and checking our emails and voicemails if there's anything urgent to connect with you on. However, just kind of be aware, and I'll kind of shoot the warning over the bow that we are getting closer to triggering buybacks. Could be this week, or nothing could happen. It just depends all on market conditions. And no one really knows in the end. And so anyways, thank you so much for checking this out. I wanted to give you a brief update and let you know where we're at. Thank you for all the feedback, both from our Smoother Ride presentation we had live and we recorded and sent out to all of you, And if you want to get a sense of better information, better education, that was a really good presentation that you do have available to you digitally for a period of time. If you haven't checked it out, let us know and we can send you the link, especially for those of you that don't live right here in our market. That's why we also wanted to record it and go through our compliance for review. So hope everyone had a good and happy, nice belated Mother's Day. And obviously, spring is springing here in Jackson, Michigan. So we're seeing lots of green and sunlight and warmer temps, which is really nice. Thank you all for tuning in, and thank you for being part of Richmond Brothers. And we will be back to you sometime this month.